Hoje no Sofá 89 a gente vai desenrolar uma ideia com o Fantastic Negrito. Quem conhece o cara pira, quem não conhece fica aí porque a história dele é doideira, assim. Ele vendia droga quando era moleque, bateu o carro quando ficou mais velho, ficou em coma. Eu sei que, no fim da história, dando spoiler, o cara ganha 2 Grammys e tá aí no mundão fazendo turnê em tudo quanto é canto e é mó da hora. Então fique ligeiro. Vamos começar aqui o nosso papo com o Fantastic Negrito. Você vai ficar de cara com a história dele, tem muita coisa legal pra gente desenrolar. Em primeiro lugar, eu queria dizer pra você que eu acho que o mundo tinha que te conhecer pela história dele, pelas músicas, pelo que ele já viveu, pelo que ele ainda vai viver, pelas conquistas e tudo mais. Mas de cara, isso é uma coisa que você também tem vontade ou o sucesso meio que te assusta?
Well, I think that based upon my experiences, that I agreed. I thought the world has to know me because I thought that I had a valuable perspective to offer other people, and I thought that my journey, all my failures, all my success, my tragedy, my triumph would be a valuable contribution to people. So I was very motivated to make sure that I made a contribution and people could hear my story and it could be of use to people, and that makes me feel productive.
Yeah. Vamos falar então sobre isso, assim, sobre as coisas que ele ganhou, as coisas que ele também acabou perdendo, muita coisa que ele passou na vida, assim, que é surreal. Pra começar, vamos então na adolescência dele, né, quando ele era moleque, nem sei se dá pra dizer adolescência, assim, mas ele era moleque mesmo, e começou a vender droga. E aí eu sei que dessa história toda o cara chegou até a ganhar 2 Grammys, então vamos pra esse começo aí, como é que foi isso pra ele?
I still sell drugs. Okay. I mean, I don't know if we have enough time to go through my story, but I could just make a brief summary.
Yeah.
Okay. A long time ago. Well, first, I was born to a family of 14 brothers and sisters. Same mother, same father. Very religious family. My father was an Orthodox Muslim, and I was born in New England. We moved to Oakland, California when I was 12, and that was complete culture shock. For the first time I thought, wow, freedom. And it was the 80s. I'm an old guy. It was the 80s, and it was the beginning of hip hop, and it was, it was colliding with the energy of punk rock, which was new. And there was just so much energy and so much culture and boogalooing and breakdancing right in the street. Kids were having rap battles on the corner, with people with safety pins in their mouth. And this was just an exciting time. You could really take it out of the air and just eat it. It was in the streets. It was incredible. You guys are probably too young to remember the 80s, but I was there. And coming from New England in a very Orthodox Muslim family with so many restrictions, I was 12 years old, and when I experienced this energy, this possibility, I didn't come home ever again. I ran away and I became basically a street kid and really enjoyed myself, actually. But I don't recommend any child to do that at 12. These are different times, but that was like my beginning. In Oakland, I found a tribe. You think about the Bay Area, you think about Oakland, California, it's a small area. But the handprint it has on the world is huge. Going back to Sly Stone, Carlos Santana, Creedence Clearwater Revival, The Grateful Dead, The Dead Kennedys, Too Short, MC Hammer, In Vogue, Tony, Green Day, Metallica. I mean, we're very diverse. I don't think one group from that area doesn't sound like the same as any other group, and I think that's something's in the water in that part. There's something in the water, and this is the place that came up with the idea of, hey, free speech. The world knows free speech now, but this comes from the Bay Area, from my area. You think of like radicalism and the Black Panthers, but then Hell's Angels, like all these people are together, like this very strange village, very strange tribe, and of outcasts. And I felt like this was my tribe. And I think that was my beginning. Before I was playing music, I was just absorbing like this energy of punk music and the energy of hip hop music and the energy of metal and the ideology of free speech and progressive politics and revolution and these things. They were just in the air. And so that was the beginning of Fantastic Negrito. And I had an idea I want to be famous. I was very young, and but I didn't know how to play an instrument. So I used to sneak into a university, very posh university. Berkeley, oh, you know, yeah. I snuck in there, and I would sit there and like listen to the students playing. I just copy them. I pretend that I'm a student. And I learned to play, and right away I was a good songwriter. I had a lot of things to write about, so I went to LA, and the first people I met were people who had managed Prince. And they gave me a deal, and then I had a deal with Interscope with Jimmy Iovine, and that was part one. I'm a young guy. I was young, I was good looking. I was like, yeah, I got $1 million. Of course, you don't get the whole $1 million. I had to share it with all these people. So I had about $500,000. So it was great, and it was life-changing. But the problem was then I turned in a record that are like, what is this? They don't know what it is. But I was very idealistic and young, like, oh, you just make music and you just get money. And I was like, what? I had no idea like that there was actually a business. And so that was very disappointing. And then I felt like a failure because here I was on Interscope, and then my label mate was Snoop Dogg, Tupac, Dr. Dre, 9 Inch Nails, No Doubt. These are they're having all this success.
E tem o show business, né? Não é só o show, tem que manjar dos dois, não tem jeito.
When you're in your 20s, come on.
No.
And people give you money, it's every day for me was a party. And I could just sit up, I wake up, it's my birthday. I wake up tomorrow, it's my birthday. I wake up, every day's my birthday. And I'm like, I got money, I got everything. And so I went from here, mentally, just, I feel like I didn't know what depression was. But I think it was depression of failure. And so I just stayed on the label, and I was doing nothing. The label just lets you sit there, but then some very great people like Lauryn Hill, way back when she would, it's like, I want you to do a show with me, and people thought I had talent, and De La Soul, like mostly hip hop people, which was strange because I wasn't doing hip hop. But that community, I think they recognized an outcast, and so they were very kind and embraced me and took me on tour. But I just literally just sat there, not knowing what to do. And one night I'm in the Hollywood Hills, crazy party, everybody doing what they shouldn't be doing. And I'm coming home, I see this girl, and back then you just pick up girls. Like I don't know her for 5 minutes, okay, let's go. And I remember thinking, wow, I'm so good at this, I could be a serial killer. I remember thinking that, and then the next moment, I woke up, 3 weeks had passed. And that was the beginning of part 2. I did 3 weeks in a coma, and I remember laying there, and I had a very big beard and really long fingernails, because when you're in a coma, I think everything's just growing. And I asked the nurse, I says, are my hands okay? And they just go like, no. Now it's just, my heart sank. Oh. And this is what's left in my hand, as you can see. Can't move it much, but hey, I managed to begin a new life. And I started getting into these incarnations of myself, and I went deep into the Los Angeles underground, which was very exciting, than compared to the mainstream. So I started opening up illegal nightclubs. It was kind of obscurity. It was kind of the opposite of $1 million. It was like kind of on the opposite side of the spectrum. So I did that, and I partied, and I have a birthday every day, and I struggled. And then one day I had the most impactful thing happened in my life as a musician. I just decided, I quit. I have nothing else to say, I thought in my mind. I got nothing. I would sit there at the piano and I go, I have nothing inside of me for this. I would try to play and I would be like, I feel nothing. So I quit. I sold all my equipment. People were just shocked. I sold everything, and I decided that I was going to go to back to Oakland, get out of LA, and I became a marijuana farmer. And I wanted to be like, I had this crazy ideas, like an art compound. I want to be a polygamist, have like 3 wives, man, and grow marijuana every day, and like have 10 children, and have a farm and vegetables, and free concerts, peace and love, and I have all these ideas. And I was having a lot of fun. This was great. I was very good at growing marijuana. I was very good. And I had chickens, and it's just amazing, beautiful time, because I got to learn about life by growing this plant. I thought, this plant is like a person. If I give this plant water, if I give it light, if I give it love, if I give it space, oh man, this plant produces for me, and we got money, and we're taking care of everybody. But if I neglect this plant, due to water on time, no nutrients, not enough light, it doesn't give me back anything. So every day when I looked at this plant, I looked at people differently, and someone's like homeless on the street, and I start to look into their eyes. And I understand that someone didn't give you water, that's all. They gave me water, they gave you water. Someone didn't give you light. Someone didn't give you a chance. So I learned so much from farming. And then my dream came true. I had a son, a little boy, and I was like, so happy. No music. And one day, it was a beautiful sunny day like this in Oakland, California, and I was alone with my son, which is very rare for me to be alone with him. And I don't know why he was so sad. He looked so sad. And I would try to make the daddy face, hello, but nothing. This day, usually it works, but he didn't. And I remember it was a couch like this, and underneath was an old guitar. I just put it there. I couldn't sell it because I sold all my stuff. It was so old. And I looked at him, and I just looked at it. And I picked it up, and I played a G major, and the world changed. His face went from the sad face, and it exploded into this huge smile. And I just stopped. I couldn't believe it. I thought, what is this? Is something wrong or something? I felt the chill go down my spine. I thought, this kid can't say words, but he understands the language of music. And I thought, wow, how important is the language of music? I didn't know it was so important. But I struggled, and I went through all this negative things about being music and wanting to be famous. But in 1 minute of playing a G major, I was learning. This was my new teacher, this little kid. And I didn't start to do music again, but that was the end of part 2, and that was the beginning of part 3, which was, hey, I'm gonna play music again, only for this kid. And so I thought, what do I play? I don't want to play my old songs. I really don't know any cover songs. I never was that type of musician. So one day I'm watching TV, and the song comes on. It's very beautiful, very melodic. And I was like, wow, that is a beautiful song for a child. So I looked it up, and it was called Across the Universe. And I don't really know anything about the Beatles. It wasn't nothing that I was come in contact with someone like the Beatles, but I was like, the Beatles, that's a great song. So I learned that song. I used to play every night that song for my son. So much that he thought that I wrote the song. And then I started to look more into who are the Beatles. I've heard about them. So I'd say, hey, these guys have really good songs for kids. So I learned some of their songs. I started playing some Beatles songs for my kids because they're very melodic and very well put together. So I think it took me a couple years. Even after that, I started to listen to a lot of the old Black Roots music. I thought if I become Fantastic Negrito, then I can talk about this old music that people don't know about. Every time someone would say, why are you Fantastic Negrito? I could say, I'm not. This music I came from, that's fantastic, and it came from these Black people that were enslaved people that went to the South. They created this music that the whole world enjoys. We don't have rock and roll, we don't have house music, we don't have electronic, we don't have soul, we don't have funk, we don't have disco, we don't have punk, we don't have anything without this music that came from America. So I thought it was very important to pay respect to my roots. So that was part 3. I became Fantastic Negrito in a very short time. I didn't want to be famous this time. I didn't want, what kind of woman can I get from this? What kind of car can I get from this? What kind of house? What kind of drugs? I didn't want that. This time I just I want to contribute. Because I used to want all those things, and it was desire. They say in Buddhism, desire, that's suffering. I wanted these things and I suffered. But the time when I just wanted to contribute, then I became free, and 4 years, so much has happened.
E aí vieram os Grammys, os 2 Grammys seguidos.
Yeah. All they care about is the Grammys. They're like, fuck your story, talk about the Grammys.
Não, na verdade não. Na verdade não, mas você sente então que o Grammy é um pedaço assim, não tão... Não acho que seja a coisa mais importante não, mas eu acho que, como você disse no começo, pode ser uma referência para muita gente, e a minoria ganhou o Grammy. Mas assim, de repente não é uma coisa que você pira tanto, é isso?
I think you're right, that it makes it important because it's I think with me, people could learn that, hey, you can be yourself, you can tell the truth, and you can still win Grammys. Yeah. I think that is true. You don't have to, if someone was going to bet on me, I mean, when I started Fantastic Negrito, I was 47 years old. People are like, you're too old. They're telling me that, you're too old. I'm like, really? Okay. They're like the music, they're like, okay, is it blues? It doesn't feel like pure blues. Well, is it soul music? But it feels too much like blues. Is it rock music? I don't know, it's too much funk. I was terrible for business. You know, old guy playing music that's not genre specific, just being myself. So I think if winning the Grammy, I'm shocked that I win the Grammy. I remember I was like, really? You're gonna give it to me? I'm a freak. I'm a weirdo. I don't belong here, you know, and that is powerful. It can give the inspiration to someone else. Like, you don't have to be a certain age. You don't have to look a certain way. You don't have to be a beautiful white girl like, ooh! Or you don't have to be like, I'm a rapper. You don't have to fit into all these stereotypes, even though they're very popular. Well, hell, you can be yourself.
Sim.
And that's very powerful, because when you can be yourself, you're helping other people. And that's worth waking up every day. To know that, man, you're helping other people, I want that.
Matou, né? Deu pra ter aí uma boa noção da história do Fantastic Negrito. Ele é demais. Procure saber aí que tem muita história. O cara canta pra caralho. Da hora. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.